Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mike Gormley Show. And I'm Mike Gormley, which fits. We're talking to Stephen Kravit, who's got some great stories. But we just heard the "Gonna Fly Now" from the Rocky soundtrack, and you were heavily involved in that film, weren't you?
Yes. Rocky was made by Charlotte Winkler. I was with United Artists at the time, and we had made a multiple picture deal with Charlotte Winkler. They had the right to do regular films that budgeted in excess of $1.25 million, but those films that budgeted in excess of $1.25 million, we at United Artists had full approval over the script, budget, cast, etc. Budgeted below $1.25 million, we waived all approvals. And in those days, studios would cross-collateralize films one against another. And in order to reduce what they'd have to pay out on a successful film, they'd be hoping that the successful film would wipe out the losses from a lost film that it had been coupled with. So I had to think, do I couple the low budget films as a group of two, and then the high budget films each as the first two, or just the first two films, whatever they are, they're a group of two, and then the next or another group of two. And that's what I decided to do. So the first film was Rocky. And with it all, Arthur Krim did not want Sylvester Stallone to play Rocky. He wanted Jimmy Caan, who was one of his favorite actors, to play Rocky. But of course, he had waived his approval. And I tried to encourage Sylvester Stallone to not play the role by offering $75,000 for him not to play the role. And this is someone who had no money at all.
Pretty broke at the time, yeah.
He was broke at the time. And he turned it down. His lawyer had recommended that he take it. And then I went to 100,000. He still took it. Wouldn't take it. He insisted on playing Rocky Balboa. So we went, and he was engaged and did play Rocky Balboa. And I was then bawled out by the higher-ups of that artist for having made the arrangement I had made for Rocky to be crossed with the next picture, which was going to be a high-budget film. They said, "Stephen, how could you have done that? Don't you understand that I didn't know? I don't think that made a difference." I said, "Look, I made my best choice." He said, "The next film is going to be a Martin Scorsese film with Robert De Niro and what's the name? Judy Garland's daughter.
Liza Minnelli.
Liza Minnelli, called, based on a Kander and Ebb show. They were going to do all the music, called New York, New York. It's going to be a mixed mess. We don't need to recover the small loss we're going to take on Rocky on this small film." I said, "Guys, I don't know. All I know is that every now and again, small films do giant business and big films fail. It is what it is. but my bonus depended on this. And of course, needless to say, when Rocky came out and was the success it was, they held up money. They didn't send John F. Winkler his extra monies. They held it for about a month because they were just so stunned and upset. And then, of course, New York came out and died as a film. And I ended up saving the company something in the area of multi-millions of dollars.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Needless to say, no one ever said thank you. They never took back what they said to me. Yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
They just ignored that situation.
It would have been nice to acknowledge it.
But the Rocky, so when the head of distribution for 20th Century Fox was saying he could only distribute a film like Rocky, all I could think of was he was killing me with the film I had basically made against the film I think was great, Chariots of Fire. So I'm being smashed by two films that I had effectively made. And it just was very disappointing, very upsetting. Took a while to get over. I'm not sure I'm still over it.
Yeah. I have stories like that too. I know how you feel. You do something right and nobody cares or they take the credit. That's even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, that's showbiz, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it goes. It's a tough business, and sometimes you run into stuff like that. And sometimes you run into a pat in the back and a thank you, and feels good. And now you're going to get a pat in the back and thank you for being here today. It's great stories. Wonderful to get to meet you and hear some of this. We were talking earlier about Chariots of Fire. Well, you just actually mentioned Chariots of Fire, which is, as I said earlier, is one of the greatest films. And this song, Chariots of Fire, I can play over and over again, and I can't do that with too many. So thank you for your work on Chariots of Fire. Thank you for your work on all these other things you did. It's great memories, and I hope it means you're enjoying a great retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you to Stephen. We're going to head out listening to Chariots.
My pleasure.
Thank you. That was great. Goes by fast every time. I say that every time. It just, all of a sudden, we're an hour later. But okay, well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. I want to thank our executive producer, Jeremiah Higgins, and our engineer, Graham Palmer, and our good friends over at Music Connection Magazine who help us out. We'll see you on the radio. Somebody used to say that. It's on the radio and it's on YouTube and we're all over the place. So come on in and join us periodically. Thanks so much, Stephen. This is the Mike Gormley Show, and we're saying goodbye for this time around.
Very good. My pleasure. Goodbye.